solving equations containing decimals, or, in other words, decimal squiggle problems. Yay! Okay, so these are squiggle problems. The only difference from what we've done before is that the equations are now going to have decimals, but we solve them the same way we did before. So, if I have x minus 3.84 is equal to 7.2. I make my squiggle through the equal sign. I take a look at my equation. I see that I have a subtraction problem. Remember, when we subtract, we're really adding the opposite, which is a negative, so I'm going to add the opposite. So I'm going to add a positive 3.84. Now be careful, when we do the same thing on the other side, we have to line up the decimals. And this goes away. We bring back down the x, we rewrite the equal sign, and then we add the decimals together. I can put a 0 here to hold my place value, and this ends up being 4. 8 plus 2 is 10. Put down the 0, carry my 1. 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So x equals 11.04. Right? Another example of a squiggle problem would be y plus 20.51 is equal to 26. All right, so I put down my squiggle. I come over here. I have to get rid of this 20.51. It's a positive. We're adding, so I'm going to add the opposite, which is a negative, or I'm going to, in other words, subtract 20.51. Now be careful on this side. Remember, the decimal is right here. So I'm going to subtract 20.51, lining up my decimals. This cancels out and goes away. The y, bring back down your y, equals, and now I have to add. I'm going to put my zeros here. And this is a 1 and a 5. Oops. Take that back. I am subtracting. And look at your signs. There you go, teacher. We are subtracting. All right, so I have to go over here to the 6, regroup, put a 5 there, put a 9 there, and this is a 10. So 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. Bring down my decimal. 5 minus 0 is 5. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So y equals 5.49. So squiggle problems, exactly as we've done before. Just be careful, like I wasn't, and make sure you watch your signs. All right, let's look at multiplying and dividing. Here are 2 more squiggle problems. This one on the left, let's say that this is problem A, is a division problem. Remember, this is a decimal bar. Okay, yeah, fraction bar. It's also called a division bar, not a decimal bar. My apologies. A division bar. Okay, and since it is division, we are going to do the opposite. The opposite of division is multiplication. So I just take a look at what's on the bottom, and that is what I'm going to divide both sides by. And put my squiggle to divide the sides. I'm going to multiply this side by 3.9. I'm going to multiply this side by 3.9. These cross off. I bring back down my W. Now here's the exciting part. You can use your calculators for this. So plug in your calculator, 1.2 times 3.9, and you should get 4.68. And we know that that's a reasonable answer. We've got our decimal, 2 places. There are numbers 2 places after the decimal, and there's 1, 2, so that looks right. And if we estimated, this would be about 4 times 1. So our answer should be about 4, and it is. Okay, let's move over to, let's mark this problem B. Here we have a multiplication problem. Okay, so we are going to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we are going to use that division bar, or also called the fraction bar, and divide both sides by 1.6. 1.6. And again, to make you very happy, you can use your calculators on this. So this crosses off to go away. The T comes back down, the equal sign gets put back, and now you plug into your calculators 4 divided by 1.6, and you should get the answer of 2.5. Okay, so those are the 4 types of squiggle problems. We have a subtraction squiggle problem where you're going to do the opposite of adding. We have an addition squiggle problem where you're going to do the opposite of subtracting. A division squiggle problem where you do the opposite of multiplying. And a multiplication squiggle problem where you do the opposite of dividing. Okay. So before it's your turn, remember the rules about decimals when you are multiplying and dividing, and that if there is, if you are multiplying a positive and negative, then the answer is going to be negative. So if the signs are different, the answer is negative. If the signs are the same, then the answer is positive. Or some of you like to remember it as an odd number of negatives means it's going to be negative. And if you have a positive number of negatives, the answer is positive. How about even? An even number of negatives, the answer is going to be positive. So whichever rule that you like, this one meaning if they are different, the answer is negative, and if they're the same, the answer is positive. Okay, let's have you practice now. Okay, copy down this problem, then pause, work it out, and start it up again and see how you did. The answer is G equals 24.09. Did you get the right answer? Did you remember to line up your decimals? All right, copy down now this problem. Let's do a subtraction problem. N minus 1.35 is equal to 19.9. Pause and then work it out. Did you get N equals 21.25? Take a look at how I solved it, compare it to yours, see what mistake you made, if you made any. All right, let's move on to multiplication and division now. Okay, here's a problem. B over negative 7.1 is equal to 0.62. All right, now remember we've got a negative here. So when you multiply, since you're going to do the opposite, make sure you keep that negative. Okay, pause and work out the problem. All right, did you get B equals a negative 4.402? I hope you remember that you could use your calculator, but if not, good for you for working it out. Okay, and it's a negative because we have one negative. We have different signs. All right, let's try a division problem now. Let's go with, okay, this problem is actually, it's a multiplication problem, which you're going to have to do the opposite, which is division. We have a negative 1.05 is equal to a negative 7m. All right, so you're dealing with negatives. Make sure whatever you do to one side, you do the exact same thing to the other side. And go ahead and pause and solve. You may use your calculator. All right, did you get a positive 0.15? A positive because we have two negatives, which is an even number, which means the answer is going to be positive. Or another way of thinking of it as the signs are the same. If the signs are the same, the answer is positive. Okay. All right, go ahead and try these four. And just so you know, you can use a calculator with these problems. The other ones, I want you to, no calculator. I want you to add and subtract and show all your work. Okay? All right, so pause, work these out, and when you have them all done, then start up and check your answers. All right? Good luck. All right, take a look at your answers. Any problem that you got wrong, would you please redo it, check the work that you did, find out where you made your mistake. Okay? Take a look at number 4. Did this one confuse you at all as to what you were supposed to do? Remember, you're always just adding the opposite so you can get rid of something, get rid of that number. And since this was a positive 1.8, we're going to add the opposite, which is subtracting a 1.8. Hopefully that didn't confuse you. Okay, so this is what we'll be working on tomorrow. If you have any questions, please write them down and ask me or Mrs. Purdy. See you tomorrow. Bye.